God.
Alright guys, I'm driving right now. I had a very important idea. I thought about recording it. This is the only way I can do it. Don't try this at home. But anyways, or don't try this when you're driving. I wanted to speak about reality and pretty much a vision on how humanity will move forth. I wanted to speak about the idea that I wanted to give you a proof of the soul. And my statement is that if you can laugh at change, if you can notice change, you're neither an object, neither a subject. Now let me explain why. If you can laugh at change, that means there's something else. Because if you were the thing that was changing, you wouldn't be able to have a reference for there to be humor or there a past thing, right? So guys, what I'm saying is that this whole time, the proof of the soul has been right there. We just haven't noticed it because they've made us ignore what we're considering is changing. So I'll give an example. I'm person A, okay? And I go through an experience and I'm going to become person B, all right? So that means in the transition of person A, because after going through the experience and becoming person B, they should not be person A. They should not be person A anymore. But we notice things change and still the perspective remains. The witness is remaining. We're still watching even though the idea and the objective and the subjective is changing. Do you understand? So I wanted to say the awareness to change is the proof of soul. Because it has to move with the change. The awareness has to change with the change. But because it notices this change, it's not the thing that's changing. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say dramatically. This technically can't be counted as an episode because honestly I'm driving and I just want to put an idea out there, so treat this as a short, even though it's not. Try to think what else I can say. Okay, let me give some tips on driving. So guys, just like I was speaking about and saying how life is like, you have a body, mind, soul. These are 3 levels to this, and human beings get up to level 2. They don't usually get up to level 3. Level 3 is the moment where you don't take yourself, others, and the world seriously anymore. Something in this life has to show you that there is a greater value. See, human beings are functioning through a world which is already its own value system, and they're also functioning through what the world means to them, which is their own simulated value system. Okay? Can you guys hear me? For the love of God, is this working? Like, my God, I can't wait for hover phones. Like, when am I gonna have, like, I wrote this in my sci-fi, guys. In the future, people are gonna have golf-sized phones, just following them wherever they go. AI assistants, you pretty much tell it and it does everything. Like, I could have just been like, yo, create a live stream, and I want to drive the car manually. You know what I mean? Right? Instead of it being an automated process. So what I'm saying to you is that we got to understand where we are not just living in a certain moment of history, but we're also living in behavioral, cultural, influenced by cultural programs. We're living at a time where your behavior is as historic as the time you're alive. Okay? You guys getting this? Yo, I'm impressed I haven't coughed yet. Anyways, the point of it was, I've pretty much, I think I'm one of those human beings on earth who's come up with a lot of arguments from different angles and perspectives on really what the soul is. at least for the secular audience, I told them that the soul is like, you look at energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but changes from form to form. So the polytheistic definition, the yogic definition of soul, the concept of the secular concept of energy fits into that. All right. But when it comes to, what do you call it? Guys, this is incredible. I'm just going to give talks when I drive. No, that life's going to make me become a NASCAR driver or something. Which I think I have potential for, guys. So, where I'm going with this is like, guys, we have been, like, just think about it for a moment. You have been born, okay, in some part of the world. That part of the world you were born in, people were already behaving there in a certain way. So we don't enter this world like the first line drawn on an empty page. Perhaps our solar ancestor Adam had that experience. But for us as human beings, like I was born in 1991, and for me, how do I tell you? It's like it's like 30 years of life was pretty much like, okay, I'm something here, but why am I here, right? And then another person, like in a video game, in a race, in a competition, in something, we don't realize it, but sometimes we're owning ourselves in the present by the strict expectations of our future. I want to tell you that, hey, it's not just you giving instructions to your biological body. There is the soul, the you that's getting it, but there's also what the mechanism of the mind is. You see, some part of, like, if I open my eyes and I was just in this car, I had teleported into a Bugatti, right? And midway in a highway and it was driving, right? In that moment, I would be like, okay, like my teleportation time was like 30 minutes. Let's say, for example, I'm a sci-fi writer, guys. Don't get too shocked. I've ran into the future many times. But as probabilities, I don't claim them as realities. I claim them as probabilities of what could happen, what could be. Do you understand? The potential of our species is where, the future generations get the power to do their great performances, right? But ultimately, everything is gotten from the system admin. So, yeah, I gotta drink some coffee now. This doesn't feel like a lecture to me. This feels like me kind of multitasking and just like somehow it's being recorded. Oh my God. So, I'm not acknowledging you or myself as a singular, as one-leveled being, okay? You're not just an object to me. You're not just a subject to me. You are what is moving the subjects and objects. Like primitive people, they would put feathers and stuff like leather or something. They would put something on themselves like as clothing, they would decorate their body. Like that's how clothing started. People would just see stuff and put it on themselves. Like probably, right? Like I think that was a good deduction. Anyways, where I'm going with this is you are not your body or your mind in the same way that I am not this vehicle that I'm driving. But when I'm driving it, the spirit that drives it is associating with all content in the moment. So it's as if your soul is having a holistic experience of life, complete, like everything included experience of life. Your mind is having its own filtered experience of your life, and your body, like the most honest, like simpleton, like honest fool, is just showing you, yo man, I'm seeing this. It's the mind that's like, all right, body, you gave me sight, let me see what I do with it now. The mind is trying to be more than itself. The body just is, it knows it is. And the soul already knows it is. But the issue is that you are here being tested in this lifetime. That means you're inside a divine surveillance state. and you're being tested in this life. And guys, the best time to quit cigarettes is before you smoke your first one, guys. Unless they make cigarettes that heal you, right? It's like some sort of medicinal, like reciprocal, right? Medical reciprocal, right? Don't freaking touch this shit, okay? Unless you're a robot and you can reprogram yourself easily. I don't know what else to say. But anyways, guys, moving aside from the flaws of the world, let's look at... Oh my God. Okay. Excuse me. Double excuse me. Anyways, where am I going with this, right? I was at first explaining what I saw about this world, okay? But now it's been clarified to me that there's a specific scenario. So what that means is you being on a soccer pitch with boots and shoes and everything, there's a coach shouting at you. Do you understand? There's teammates looking at you, telling you to pass the ball, right? And there's an auditorium, gigantic stadium. This is what I call the divine surveillance state. Okay? But the whole gigantic stadium belongs, everything, the whole game is being played in front of a singular original power. So the simulations are being tested. You can, the same way you can say you're a human being, it's also the same way you can say you're also in product review, you're in performance review. Do you understand? You're like if we wanted to say, all right, let's humanize it. If I humanize it, do you know how freaking jolly I can make this place? Oh my God, everybody's on my side. Everybody's my friend. This world is heaven. Of course the mind can make this world into, like, simulate an overlay, put another Photoshop filter of like heavenliness over it. But in reality, we have to be honest. Honest is not a weakness. It's just corrupt cultures that convince you of that. Honesty is a beginning on the journey towards the original world. That means me and you are stranded in the simulated testing zone. Do you understand? Anyways. So what's important here is that a part of me has to say this to the world. Do you understand? You can't see something and see something ahead and not say something. You don't believe it, right? There was a time where I was like, you know, at least this is how I felt now, or, you know, I guess I don't feel completely like this, but there was a time where I said, you know, if I wanted to write something on my gravestone, it would be this: the man who hit a bullseye, the guy who hit a bullseye that only God saw. You don't understand. I've been privileged to be in a position to warn scenarios and situations where I've seen ahead. I've told people, and you don't know from the beginning. It's like the hilarious story of my life. I see things ahead, I tell people, but because of my simplicity, introversion, and gentleness, there isn't value behind the opinion to others, I find. Right? Why? Because I hide my intensity from others, to be honest. In these talks it comes out, but when I see people in real life, I've realized, like, you pretty much, like, how do I tell you? When I get to meet people, I don't consider any of it real until that person shows me they've seen through the simulation. Do you understand? That's how you test. That's how you test another person, right? Pretty much you put something of yourself in front of them and you see how they respond. Are they gullible? Do they think you are that or not? I'm not saying be dishonest. I'm just saying that what I've realized from modernity is that we've limited ourselves to an objectivism and a subjective story. There's a freaking soul there. A soul has the potentials that can go beyond what a person can even recognize. Do you understand? So to me, I'm in a world as an unknown. To be honest, as a Muslim, in the holy book, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Quran, Holy Quran, right, Quran, God says the soul is the secret of God. Do you understand? So this means that man can try as hard as he wants to know what he is, to truly go and discover the secrets of how the original soul was created from an original state. How can an originality be trapped in a simulation? Religion has an incredible power of getting you out of your own limited beliefs. Now, this doesn't mean you have no mind of your own.
Move to the right in 2 kilometers.
It just means you move to the right. No, I'm joking. What it means, folks, is that at some point you'll realize what I'm saying when I say that there'll come a moment
take the next exit
where you'll take the next
on the right
exit.
onto Route 21.
Guys, this lecture is featuring, not so modern, GPS systems. Guys, what I'm telling you is that an advanced life is possible on this earth, but it is way more advanced than our subjective storytelling and our objective bewilderment. So, my fellow humanity, my fellow species, if this talk manages to somehow knock on the gates of your heart, it is time for the existing to live for the greatness of the existence to come. Okay? So we shifted from honorless organisms, basking in their own self, in their own looking down on themselves, into, excuse me, we're here once the greatest performance of humanity unleashed in the sight of the ultimate presence. May we be guided. May humanity be forgiven and blessed. And that's it, guys. And
prepare to turn left.
The soul is not the mind. And if you have ever decided between more than one idea, that the soul's been deciding, because you couldn't have been any of those ideas if you identify as a singular idea. Anyways, thank you for listening. I forgot to say this, but I will say it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful.
Please turn left in 200 meters onto Industrial Park Road.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. In the name of the Lord, all praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, it was a driving situation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Guys, directly go to the system admin. It is
now,
a greater
turn left.
It is a greater intelligent interaction than anything worldly. Go towards the original. The simulated power is assimilated. Thank you.